Hello and welcome to the cast assessment for 1984 Lights Out. This is season 7. Here with me, I have the rest of the production. So I have Blake, Caleb, and Rizzo, and we are here to assess the cast. This is going to be our fastest one in a while, but it's still probably going to be pretty long. So we might as well get right into it. We're going to go in the order that we revealed them. So first up is Austin Boss. Who wants to start? Okay, I'll start. I have known Austin for quite a few years. Back on 10 Gauge, we played Stars together multiple times. I've been trying to get Austin to apply literally since season 1. I'm really excited for him to play. He's a really good player. He has been playing orgs for a very long time, been on 10 Gauge for a very long time, so he knows what he's doing. Not that Stars is very similar to an org, but every time I see him in Stars, he's making it really far. Every time I see him in an org, he's made it really far. So I have really high hopes for Austin. I know this is only the first person, but Austin is definitely in my winner contenders right now. So yeah, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
So, okay, Caleb.
Sorry. I'm gonna say I agree with Michael. I think Austin's kind of like the full package. I think he is gonna be really good socially. I think he's also gonna be really good strategically. I don't know how he'll do at comps, but I think he'll be fine. I'm worried. I don't think he said anything yet, but they've only been in the house chat for like an hour or so. So maybe he's just busy, or maybe he's just PMing people privately. But I definitely think he has everything needed to go really, really far. I don't think he's going to get on anyone's nerves. But I also don't think he's going to be looked at as a huge threat until it's probably too late. And I do see him making it to the end. I really can.
So I played Pro Survivor with Austin the season I won. He got 5th place, and we didn't work together at all. We were on different sides of the boat. I was with my alliance with Jake Stevens, and he was with his alliance. But he's pretty good. Like, he's very social. He's very loyal. Like, he was always with his side of the people. So I'm curious to see what he does in a Big Brother format. Like what you guys said, I think I don't know if he's in my winner pick, but if I had to pick one person I could bet money on to be like top 8 for sure, I think he definitely makes it past the halfway point for sure. But I don't know if he has the cutthroat ability to, let's say get that W.
Okay, so I played my first org with Austin in like 2017. So it's been like Michael said, he's been playing for a while. I think he has all 3 of the aspects of what you need to play a good game. Like, I think he's strategic, I think he's social, I think he has, like, he's good in some comps, he's not good at all of them, but I guess nobody's really good at every single comp style. The one thing I think Austin has working against him is sometimes he can get caught up in his messiness, at least from what I've seen from him in the past. So I'm hoping that he kind of works that out and makes it to the end, because I could definitely see him getting all the way to the end game.
Okay. So next up is Miss Chloe. I guess I'll go first again. So I love Chloe. I was really excited when she applied. She's kind of like a wild card in my opinion. I don't think she's the type of person that'll be targeted early at all. I do see her making it to at least the jury. I don't know how much farther she'll make it after that. I'm not sure if Chloe has the strategic abilities to win this game, but I do think that she has the social abilities too. I think that she very well could maneuver her way through the game socially and find herself sitting in the final 2 and could win depending on who she's sitting next to. I don't necessarily see her playing a masterful game. However, so I think Chloe's best path would be to hook on to a good alliance or a good final two. I think that she has somebody in this game that she's going to hook on to. And I just hope that that person doesn't like end up being her downfall. So yeah.
I
I think
guess.
you
Are we
guys
just gonna
know
keep
who I'm
this
talking
order?
about.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll take it order.
Okay,
Yeah,
I guess we'll
that's
keep the
fine.
same order. I kind of agree, kind of disagree. I think Chloe needs to find a good alliance. I don't think she needs to find a final two because I think she's always going to be looked at as like second in command to anyone. Because I just feel like it's always the more strategic players who are seen as the forefront of any pair. And the same can be said for an alliance, but I think she's going to fare better if she has a bigger group. I think she's going to be able to kind of make a better case for herself if she has a group instead of just a duo. Um, but I do agree with you in the sense that I think she's going to be probably one of the strongest socially. But apparently she's really bad at comms. That's what everyone's saying. She's like notoriously bad for comms. So that's kind of
Napolito
gonna
who?
what?
I said Napolito who?
That no comment. So that's
Not always
gonna
loves his shout out.
be rough because if you can't win comms and you're not very strategic, there's not much you can do in the game except just play defensively and try to get to the end. And that's not always going to be like a super rewarding game, even if you do make it to the end. So I do think she can go far based on her social game. I hope she can bring it strategically or win a comp or two, but I'm not too sure. But I've never seen her play or anything like that, so I'm actually really excited to see what she can do.
So just like Caleb, I've actually seen her play Padlock season 1. That was with a couple of like friends that I know, but like she was pre-merge or pre-jury or whatever. I don't know. I think I like Chloe. She's like really bubbly and like she seems like really fun. Like she like talks about getting drunk all the time. So I don't know. She sounds like a fun time, right? So I think she can like if she knows how to socially maneuver herself, I think she can make it far. I feel like she's someone that if she won power, she'd like put up the two biggest threats just for the memes. I don't know. That's just the vibes I get from Chloe. I think she's pretty well connected, at least in terms of people she knows in the cast, right? Like I think she knows Jerry. I think she knows Josh, unless I'm like wrong. But I think she has a couple of people she can go to, so I think Chloe can make it far. Is she my winner pick? Definitely not. But like I would like to look back at this a month or two from now and be like, I underestimated Chloe. But at this moment, I don't see her being the player of the season.
Before we go any further, it probably is important to mention the fact that there are 5 people from Trinity, South Africa on this cast. While we try to avoid this, it does happen. Those people being Josh, Chloe, Jerry, Billy, and Dylan. I don't see that becoming a group of 5. I actually more see that becoming a drama starter. So yeah, but Blake, you can go. I just wanted to mention that.
I want so badly to see Chloe and Peyton become a thing because I feel like their personalities are very, very, I don't want to say similar, but like I feel like they are both super bubbly and quirky and funny. So I would love to see that become like a thing. But I definitely think that Chloe is super social, like you all have said. The thing that's working really well for Chloe is that like you can literally have any conversation with her and like it doesn't feel like it's ever being forced, I guess. Like it's enjoyable to talk to Chloe and she makes it fun and exciting. I think she needs to not stay in the same area as she's used to, meaning like don't just stick with Josh, don't just stick with Jerry, don't just stick with those people because you know them. I think she needs to kind of expand her horizons and maybe she could become like a powerful player, but I don't, from what we've seen in the past, I don't think she's going to be a strategic mastermind or a comp beast, but I definitely think her socialness is something that is definitely working in her favor. And we've seen in the past from Big Brother, you can win the game by just being super, super social. And not being a snake or not being shady or not basically hurting people's feelings. And I think that's what she has working for her. But I would love to see freaking competition Chloe, or like shady Chloe or strategic Chloe. Like, I think that would be an interesting side to see from her. And I don't think that anybody would be expecting it, but I think Chloe might actually do really well.
I hope she wins HOH tonight. Just for the
That
memes.
would be so good.
Honestly, she's gonna be really drunk, and it's very possible, and I think it'd be hilarious. I honestly, that's my
I'm here
dream. I would
for it.
love to see Chloe win HOH,
That was
and
mine
she's
as
gonna end
well.
up putting up like, she's gonna like drunkenly put up like Josh and Jerry and be like, that won't actually happen, but it would be really funny. Okay. Next up, we have Callum. I guess we're just sticking to our order, so I'll go. So I feel like I think Callum is a really good player. I just don't necessarily know if he's gonna make it far with this group of people. I feel like the vibe I get from Callum is a lot different than the vibe I get from most of this cast. So as much as like I do think Callum is a good player, I just don't know what to expect from him this season. I kind of followed Instinct, but not enough to know how good he is at competitions. The social series, I saw him. He had a good social game, so he does have that going for him. I don't know. Callum is possibly one of my first boot predictions, but I really hope not, because I really like Callum, and I'm sorry, Blake, I'm sorry, but I I just feel like with this group, I just don't know how far Callum's gonna get, and I really hope I'm wrong because I really like Callum.
I kind of agree. Callum is probably one of the people talking the most right now in the house chat though. So I do think he's gonna be social. I just wonder if he's gonna be able to connect with people. Because I think that's gonna be the key to either him going far or going home early. Because I think a lot of people do already know a lot of other people on the cast, whether good or bad. I so I guess that could work out for him if it's bad connections that are within the cast. He might just be able to sit back, kind of let it happen. But I hope he can get out there and make the not just like talking to people. I want him to make connections, because otherwise, I do think he's gonna go early, which sucks because I don't want him to, but I do think it's possible.
Blake, don't kill me, but at the moment, I think he's my first boot prediction. Just because, like everyone's saying, like I don't know if he fits in with this group of people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like maybe his sense of humor or just the way he talks might be like come across as like not weird. I don't know the word for it, but like like they might not connect with him instantly. So if even though I think he's talking to a lot of people, I think if he can integrate himself well and find a couple of people that will have his back, he'll be okay. I just don't see anybody necessarily sticking their neck out for Callum. So like I think if he has himself in a good spot, he could make jury or whatever. But if I had to pick one person that I think is 100% going pre-jury, my guess would be Callum.
Okay, the first
Like,
thing I'm gonna say is fuck all three of you. The fuck you all. I don't like any of the three of you. I'm kidding. But no, Callum is genuinely one of like, I know he may not give off like the greatest vibes at first necessarily, but Callum is one of the most genuine and sweet people that I've met in the org community. And that says a lot because I've been like playing orgs for like 5-6 years now. So it's been a while. So like Callum is super sweet, and he does like he messages you on a daily and checks up on you, like make sure you're okay. Like he cares genuinely on a human level, a personal level. And I do think he's a good player. One thing that might work against Callum is his time zone, but he played Instinct and he was active, and I think he made the jury. So I think he might stand a chance. I just think he needs to integrate himself in a way that people want to work with him and take that further. Because I mean, like you guys said, he might not be the most interesting character right now from the main chat, but I guess like there could be PMs going on and we might not know everything right now. But yeah, I hope Callum goes far. I love Callum. And I think he'll grow on a lot of you if he makes it farther.
No, I love Callum. I just think with this group of people, I just don't know how well he'll connect with them. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think he's.
I really hope I'm wrong because I really like Callum. Yeah. Okay. Next up, the birthday girl, Allie, is next. Ever since I like, I don't want to say like found out about Al, but like ever since I like figured out Allie existed, I've wanted to host her. I think we both played Ascendance, but it was like completely different seasons, and I think that's when I first like met Allie. And then I've seen her playing a lot of games. So every time I see Allie, it's either she's gotten like first, second, third boot, or she's made it like final four, and that's pretty much what I am expecting from her, is either one of the first couple boots or she's going to make it really far into the end. I really hope that she makes it really far into the end because I would love to see her go far. She kind of reminds me of Lauren from season 3 and 4 and Surviving 1. So I love Lauren. So I really hope that Allie is as social as Lauren was, because I feel like that would be really good for her. I don't know. I have high hopes for Allie. I really hope she does well this game. So yeah, I think social game's definitely going to be her strongest selling point in this game. So
I am worried for her. I think she is, and I don't want to put this in a bad way because it's not a bad thing, but I think she is too nice, which like in reality is wonderful. She seems like such a lovely human being. But like in this game, especially with this cast, we have like Gamebot Central, we have like a bunch of people who are really cutthroat. I don't think it's going to work out well for her, sadly. I think she's going to be too nice for her own good in this game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope she can be cutthroat up there with the rest of them, but I don't think it's going to be the case, and I think it might make her an early boot. Vice versa, I do think it could work if she finds a strong alliance to latch onto early on. Because she is so nice, she is so friendly. I do think her social game is going to be strong. And if she can find a good alliance to work herself into, I think they might be able to take her far. But I think she might be pre-jury for now, which is sad because I really do want to see her go far. She is so wonderful.
Just wanted to say, whenever you watch this back, Allie, if you do, happy birthday, haha. But no, I just like Michael said, I think I've seen Allie a lot in the community. We've played in a lot of similar series, not the same season, but like I've seen her play a lot of the games I've been a part of. And just like Michael said, she's like first, second, third boot, or like she'll be the occasional like fifth placer, fourth placer. She's played Sequester a couple of times and gotten like 19th. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what, not like, I don't know what's the fault in her game. I don't know if it's because she's too nice or she just doesn't know how to get into a group. Like, I don't know what her issue is, because like from her interview and from everyone that I've heard, everyone loves Allie. I just don't know what gets her to be those early boots. So I feel like as long as she's herself, active and putting herself out there, that she can make a deep run. I just think her positive outlook and just her niceness should get her to the jury phase. But like Caleb said, like when you have people like Devin Withers, Josh, like all these people that are like quote unquote strategic game bot, whatever, like Allie could always go at any point, right? Allie's like this easy boot. So if Allie doesn't integrate herself well, I can very much see her following the same path as all her other orgs, which is usually first, second, or third boot. But I'm going to be positive and I'm going to say she is an early juror.
I kind of agree with all of the above. I think y'all are pretty accurate with
Don't
like
hate us
the fact
anymore.
that she's huh?
I said you don't hate us anymore. I
Oh,
said you don't hate us
no.
anymore.
No, I still do. No, I'm kidding. I can never. I think Allie is definitely a genuinely nice person, and she cares about all the people she plays with. That's why she's at so many of these org meetups, because like everybody loves Allie and everybody loves to be around Allie. And I think that I kind of agree with Rizzo in the sense that I don't understand why that's not like, I don't know the right word, but like why she's not making it further, because she's so nice. Like I don't understand how that does not connect. But I mean, I hope she goes far. I don't think she, like, kind of like I said about who did we just do last? Why am I blanking?
Callum?
Callum,
No, Chloe,
Chloe.
sorry. Just like we said about Chloe, I don't think she's going to be a strategic force. I don't think she's going to be like a competition beast, but I think her socialness is going to work in her favor, and I think she can go far based off of that. And in a season full of so many game bots, maybe people like Chloe and Allie might make it further, because their social bonds and connections that they make can carry them and kind of hide them in the background while all these game bots are out front taking all the hits. So maybe that could work out for her. But I'm hoping she goes far, just because she is a super, super sweet person. And we love positivity. Yes, Queen. Happy birthday, Queen.
I will also say, I think the last game I saw Allie in was like Broski Survivor or something. And I think she made Final Tribal Council. And then I've seen her at least one time in a sequester final, but I don't know if she won it. I don't think she did. And yeah, and then something that I don't know who I mentioned it to or who mentioned it to me or whatever, but we had talked about it before, how we thought that it was very likely that like a floater could win the season based on how many game bots there are. And I don't necessarily think like a floater would win. I think more like a social player would win rather than a game bot, I think is kind of how I see it. I feel like there are so many game bots on this cast, but there's also so many very strong social players that I do think that this season we might end up with a social winner rather than like a game bot winner.
Hey,
If
and
anybody
to be
else
honest,
has any thoughts about that.
being a floater is not a horrible strategy. Like there's
Right.
being a coaster. Okay, I don't like
It's called
coasters,
playing
but
the middle.
yeah. I mean, I think Sam was kind of a floater last season, but he was never really caught for it because he was always viewed on one side.
No comment.
I kind of get like Burke season 2 vibes. Like I feel like that could be how the season goes, where like all the big players are going to keep going after each other, and the next thing you know, two people that aren't necessarily the strongest players but are very social players are sitting in the end together, and nobody expected it, but that's what happens. Like I feel like that could happen this season, but yeah.
And that's the thing, like what makes a good player? Do like, will the jury value the socialness? Will the jury value competitions? Will the jury value, strategic big moves being made? Like, you never know from game to game what makes a good player.
Right. So, and next up is a very early fan favorite already, Miss Amanda. So I really like Amanda. She's a preschool teacher, so like we love that. She, I guess, has won a couple orgs already. She played in Sam Yu's Expect the Unexpected game. I think that was one. I think that's how she found out about this game, was through Sam Yu, Sam T, and Jason. So from what I've heard, she's a really good player. She seems to be very social. She's already commented on how she thinks her social game is going to have to come out with this cast because I don't think she knew anybody except for like Peyton, I think was the only one that she knows. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited to see her play, especially with all the people that are enjoying her so far in the viewers lounge and all of that. So I have very high hopes for Amanda. Dare I say she might be my other winner pick. I feel like that's almost a too popular opinion at this point though, so we'll see. I'm really excited to watch Amanda play. I really liked her interview. She was one of the first ones. So yeah, I'm excited for her.
Yeah, not to sound mainstream, but Amanda Winner. She is going to go far. I don't see it going any other way. Oh, actually, no, I do. I'm worried because her and Peyton do know each other, and they're not hiding it very well. They said something in like the house chat, and then somebody was like, "Oh, you guys must be soulmates." Like people are clocking them already, and that's not something you want to happen early in the game because there's really nothing to go off of in like the early game unless you like have previous history with somebody. But like if you clock a duo right away, it's over. You could easily be out the door. So as long as they keep that under wraps, I think it'll be okay. But even in that case, I think Amanda would stay over Peyton, in my opinion. But I think she's gonna go really far. I think she's strategic, social, and I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be saying this because I've never actually seen her play, but I just have a really good feeling about her, and I don't know if it's everyone hyping her up, but I do think she is going to make it really far, and I think she is one of the big contenders to win this game.
So I was high on Amanda until 99% of production and the viewers lounge were high on Amanda. So I'm not going to be that high on Amanda, but I will say I like her energy. I feel like she's very composed. She's like smart. I don't feel like if she was under under anxiety, not anxiety. What's like if she was put on the block, right? Like
Stress?
I feel like she'd be right, yes, under stress. Like I feel like she'd be able to like look at the situation, go from there, and she's not like, oh my god, I'm going home. Like I think she's just the vibes I got from her. She's very patient, very composed. I think she is very strategic. I definitely see her going far, but the only thing is with so many people that are game body, I feel like she could be clocked. Whereas if she was in a season with just all social players, I think she can float her way to the end. Just like how we've been saying this whole time, where we think a social player could win. If I had to pick one person, I would pick Amanda. I just don't know how she will fare with the rest of the cast, but I am also pretty high on her, but I won't give her winner picks because I'm different.
Okay, first I want to say I definitely could see Amanda winning. And she is high up on my list too. However, I kind of agree with what Rizzo said, is you don't like with a cast full of like the Devins, the Joshes, the Dylan, even like I mean Dylan does like Amanda from what we see so far, but do we see none of these game bots trying to attack each other at some point in time? Like I feel like she could be a casualty of that kind of crossfire of like all these game bots coming to a head and trying to go after one another. But I definitely like her, and she gives me very, very similar vibes to what Caitlin Orr gave me in Double Cross when I played with her.
Yes.
And I kind of live for that. And that makes me almost wonder, is Garrett and Amanda going to come together at some point?
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, I wouldn't complain.
I hope so.
But
I love that.
I think she has a chance of making the end. I am also not going to call her a winner just because I want to be different too.
We get it. You guys are quirky. You're so different.
Blake,
Hashtag different.
Blake says he wants.
Hashtag different.
Blake says he wants to be different, but then steals my draft team. But
Mine
Well,
too,
I put it in
honestly.
first, honey. I put it in first.
That was straight up my draft team too.
See, I had a completely
Whatever.
different draft team. Hashtag different.
There you go.
This is true.
Rizzo can claim being different, but okay.
Riz got slaughtered.
Next up is Nick Mana. I'm very interested to see how Nick's gonna play. He kind of already clocked himself as first boot. Like he already in his production chat said, "Oh, I see myself being first boot already." Like he's already like very self-aware about the fact that he might not fit into this cast as well as he would want to. I feel like we do have a very social cast, and I don't necessarily think that Nick is that very social of a player. I think that what he's going to need to do is turn up that social ability in the game and find himself a couple allies and get into a group before it's too late. He did mention that him and Corey are exactly 1 day apart in age, and so that might be a bonding thing. I don't know. I don't know if maybe like the older players might come together somehow. I don't know. Caleb, shut up. But I feel like that could happen. Probably not, but it could. I don't know. I feel like Nick definitely could be first boot, but I think if he can get into a good group, I think that he has a good shot of doing well in this game. But I feel like he needs to get into a good group, and he needs to do it now, because if he doesn't do it anytime within the next like couple hours or the next 24 hours or whatever, I think he could very easily find himself out of the house first. So
I think Nick is probably going to be my first boot pick. I am a firm believer that what you put out is like what you're going to get back. And if he's already saying that he's going to be first boot, like if he's already believing that, if he has that mindset, it's not going to end well for him. Even if he's not first boot, like just playing the game with that mindset, he's not going to go far. But I want him to. I don't think it's going to happen. What was I going to say? I don't know why Michael's laughing.
I'll just say it. We got one of Jerry's Facebook comments got marked on Facebook as against like their codes or whatever because he called somebody a dirty sewer rat. I'm sorry.
Me trying to look for the line though.
Yeah, I was confused because
I'm sorry.
I just saw the notification on Facebook that said that one of our posts were removed due to community guidelines being
the
something.
drama.
I'm just gonna take a screenshot and send it to Jerry. And okay, we can continue with her assessment.
Okay, but Nick, I sadly don't think he's going to make it very far, not with that mindset. And it's just not looking well for him. But the sad part is I don't think he's wrong to feel that way. Like he knows he's not most likely gonna vibe with this cast. He knows he's not likely gonna do well. And I was like, you can't have that mindset, but like I understand why he does, because it's not looking too well for him. So I think sadly he is gonna go pre-jury. Also, one of the questions we asked in the interview was like, what twist would you hate to see? And he said like a blackout with, he specifically said where you don't know the HOHs and the POV winners. And we're like kind of doing just the vote. So like not the same thing, but I think he's not going to be happy about this twist. And I don't think he's going to handle it well and maneuver around it. So I think all that combined it's not going to go well for him, which is sad, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Can I just say something really quick? I think that this twist is going to cause massive amounts of paranoia. And I am so especially excited. With this cast, I'm ready for it.
And it might throw the game box
we have
off.
So many snakes.
I also like
we have so many snakes in this cast.
But
Blake's not on.
I just think it's good because the twist is so simple that so many people are gonna be shook. But Got it. Sorry, I was commenting on the Mark Jerry thing. Who are we talking about now? I forgot.
Also, we were talking about Nick, but also Jackson Walsh, you can like not try to clock my twist. Thank you. Jack Walsh definitely like thought we were doing the same thing that Nick had mentioned, where we were going to do like anonymous HOHs and POVs, which is not what we're doing. That's too much work on production standpoint. But Rizzo, you can talk about Nick now.
So Nick hosts his own game too, like the experiment and stuff. So I know he knows a little bit of people there. But I think Nick plays a lot of like Tumblr games and stuff like that, because I played Tumblr Survivor with Nick and Keaton the season that Keaton won, and Nick did me fucking dirty. So Nick, if you're watching this, fuck you. No, I'm just joking. But I think Nick is very chaotic. I think he's very messy. I think, especially with a twist like this, he is definitely someone to be like, oh, let's vote out person A and then votes out person B just for the meme. Like, I think if he plays like how I think Nick usually plays, he's probably going to see an early boot. But on Tumblr Survivor, he was able to pin me as the person to go home. So like, I feel like if he has a group of people, he can steer them in the direction that he wants. Like, he's good with people. It's just, I don't know cast, because usually the people that play the games that I think he plays are more like, not children, but like, like newer org people, whereas these are org veterans. I don't think he can have the same influence as he usually does.
Okay, so Nick, when you watch this back, I just want to let you know that I actually do love you very, very much. But with that being said, Nick is a fucking mess. But that is exactly why I wanted him on the cast, because I guarantee you have at least one Nick blow up, even if he's here for 1 week, or if he's here for 2 weeks, or if he's here for the whole game. You're gonna have at least one Nick blow up, and he's gonna do something really stupid and really messy. Like, for example, when I played pro with him a couple years back, like Sherry McPherson was also in that game, and we let Nick know that he was getting like 1 or 2 votes at tribal council, but not to panic. 20 minutes later, it was all blown up everywhere that Nick is getting votes, and Nick blew it way out of proportion. If you give him 1 inch as an ally, he will take the full mile and he will ruin his own game. And I think that that is his biggest downfall. Like, he has these little Nick blow ups, and it's like, bro, just simmer that down just a little bit, and then maybe you can go a little bit further. But yeah, I definitely hope that Nick makes it a decent ways, just for the memes and for the lulz and for the blow ups and for the TV time that we all want. But yeah, I don't think Nick's making it very far. I agree with you guys, but I hope, like I said, I hope he just makes it like at least a couple weeks so we can get some good moments from him.
I apologize. My headphones are being stupid and they keep changing, so I have to take them out. But next up is Billy. I'm really excited for Billy to play. He is a firecracker type of player. I don't necessarily think he's going to make it very far, but I think he's going to leave a big impact on this game while he's here. I would not be surprised if we have a house call, fight, whatever, and Billy is in the middle of it. I would not be shocked. Billy's not afraid to call a bitch out at all. So I feel like I'm very excited for Billy. I would love to see him win an HOH during the early game, because I think that he would take out a big player. I don't think he cares if that has repercussions or not. I think he'd just take out a big player to take out a big player. The one time I played Stars with Billy a lot, but I did play an org with Billy at Trinity Survivor Atlantis, the one that we don't talk about. But what happened in that game was Jaybird Nifty from season 2 found an idol and gave it to Billy, and Billy used it to idol me out. And so I got voted out by Billy's vote, and that was it. And so that is what happened when I played with Billy. And so if he does anything like that, I mean, I think we're in for a ride. So I'm really excited to get to see him play. I hope he lasts a while, but I really don't see him making it to jury as much as I would like him to.
Billy was almost my lock for this cast, just because wanted. I think his personality, his chaotic personality, is gonna fit really well with his twist. Not for him, but for viewing purposes, I think it's gonna fit really well. Um, I do think he might be able to work it to his advantage. Because he does kind of have that balls to the wall attitude. Like, he's not afraid to do anything. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He's not afraid to make moves. And I think he could make this twist work for his advantage. Do I think he will? Most likely not. I do think his um I don't want to say anger because I don't think he's angry, but I do think his how did you put it? Firecracker energy or is kind of gonna get in the way. I think he's gonna pop off. I think he's gonna call things out, and I think that's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. I don't think this is the cast for that because I think a majority of them are fairly. Maybe I'm wrong actually. We'll see how I feel about it down the line because we have Nick, Jerry. So maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a good majority of them are more laid back, chill, or like they know when to say stuff and they're not gonna pop off because they know it's bad for their game. Billy won't give a fuck and he'll do it, and I think that's um might be bad for him. It might kind of put him in the spotlight when he really shouldn't be. I do hope I'm wrong. I hope he can work this twist to his advantage. But it's not looking like it, but hopefully I'm wrong because I actually do want to see him go really, really far. I do.
I actually take back my Chloe pick. I kind of want Billy Rocker to be the first HOH of the season just because I don't know. I feel like he already made this comment in his project about how he saw like five like South Africa players. Like, what if he was just like put up the South Africa players in his HOH and just fuck shit up? I don't know. Like everybody's been saying, Billy gives me like that like firecracker vibes. Like if he doesn't like it his way, he'll let it be known. And I just don't think that's good gameplay. I mean, as someone like I've played orgs now for almost 2 years, and the only time I ever popped off was in Bryce and All Stars because he pissed me off that one time. But like, I don't know, I'm like pretty composed, and I just don't really see people that pop off that well, or especially with a cast like this, like how everyone says, like laid back. Like, I don't see like, maybe I mean like I don't know, like I don't know, like I don't see anybody fighting back with Billy. So like if besides maybe Nick, but like if Billy was to call someone out, they're gonna be like, okay, Billy, like shut up. Like you're just whatever. They'll just like undermine him. So if he can keep his composure, if he can be smart, I think he's also like in that middle of the pack kind of player. I don't see him winning, but I don't see him being the first two boots. I don't know. He falls in the middle for me.
I feel like Dylan and Billy might go at it. Dylan
Yeah, I take
expressed like not liking Billy a little bit, so I feel like that could possibly become a thing.
you know what?
I feel like that would almost be like an out of the gate type thing, kind of like it was with like Nick and Heather in season 4, like that fast. I feel like it could.
Oh, not the rat troll controversy. I take back what I said.
Don't say
I
that.
actually-
Don't say that.
Sorry. I think there's actually a lot of people who are gonna pop off. So maybe Billy will be okay because there's like now that I think about it, there's Nick, Dylan, Jerry will pop off if he needs to, and like I don't see much of this cast taking shit. So maybe Billy might be in the majority with people who can yell.
Yeah, my problem is I don't pop off until I get voted out. Maybe that's why I'm not a villain. I just need to pop off before I get voted out.
I can give you lessons.
You already tried, Blake. Come on.
I basically agree with what you all have said about Billy so far. Well, bits and pieces, I guess. Like I do think Billy is probably gonna go pre-jury. Just because it's not even the fact that he like is loud and will call people out. It's the fact that like he thinks that everything needs to go his way and what he thinks is always the right way, and that needs to happen. And so I think that that might be the thing that rubs people the wrong way about Billy's gameplay. Um, but I do think he is. I do think he's a decent player. I don't think he's bad at the game whatsoever. I think if he just can tone back that feistiness and be in that firecracker, then I think he could make I think he possibly could make a deep run, but I would like him to change up his gameplay from what we usually see from Billy and try to tone that back a little bit and just be strategic and social and physical and not be so in your face about everything, if that makes sense.
Was he the one who played as a Money Heist persona? Was that him?
I think it was.
I'm not making that up, am I?
Like he said, just for fun, he played as a persona of some character.
I know somebody did it in South Africa, and I want to say it was him.
I think it must have been him, because he had said something about, because we had asked something about like their last game where they got eliminated, and I think he was the one that said that. That sounds right. Okay. Next we have Corey Meyer. I'm really excited for Corey. I feel like I know that Corey is a really good player. I just really hope that their social abilities are strong enough with this group. And I feel like this group, as I said, is a bunch of social players and a bunch of game bots. And I don't know if Corey necessarily fits either of those. And so I really hope that Corey can turn up either, or at least one of them, because I really like Corey, and I'm glad that we ended up being able to make a spot for them on this cast. So yeah, I do think that Corey will make it at least to jury. I just don't know how much farther after that. Take a drink, Caleb. Corey just made it to final 2 in Ascendance. So there's that. They did lose the game. However, they gave a really good final tribal whatever speech and did pretty well in the game and almost turned enough votes to win. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see Corey play. So yeah.
I honestly I love that, Blake. I honestly don't know where Corey stands for me. I think they are probably the biggest wild card for me. They did just make Final Two and Ascendant, so they have to have something going for them. But I don't know. I feel like for this season, Corey just kind of slips through the cracks for me. I don't know if they're gonna be able to latch on to anyone and make something work. And I don't think that's anything on them because I know they're a good player. I just think that I don't think it's gonna work with this cast. Kind of like the same thing with Nick Mana, especially because Nick Mana is like I think Nick Mana and Corey are getting along really, really well. And if Nick Mana's targeted early, I think Corey could kind of be a casualty of that as well. So I am kind of worried about that. I do hope Corey goes far though, but for me, kind of a wild card. I honestly don't know where Corey's going to land. I think it could be anywhere, to be quite honest. But I am very excited to see them play.
I feel like Corey has more connections on this cast than Nick does. Like Corey, take a drink, played Ascendance, and so
I need another one.
Has a couple of Ascendance allies. Dylan was excited to see Corey. I don't think Peyton has said anything, but I think Peyton and Corey will definitely work together or at least be civil. So I feel like Corey does have a couple ends. I just don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. I'm excited though.
I am a Corey stan. I played one of my first Survivor orgs with Corey, and they got final 2 and lost by 1 vote. I think the vote was like 5-4, 6-5, something like that. And me and Corey never really worked together, but like they always had my back per se. Like they would tell me what the vote was like. That was when I was like new to orgs, so like I don't know, I was kind of like a sheep back then, but whatever. So like plus they made it final 2 in Ascendance. A lot of the times I've seen Corey make it deep into games, but they just haven't gotten the win. So I don't know if they're just learning from that continuously, because I think I've seen Corey lose like 3 games at FTC now. So they have the capability of making it to the end. I just haven't seen them close it out for the win yet. So plus I know they played Perception as well. Like I think Corey is a big enough name and is played the big games to know what to do to get to the end. But I just haven't seen them close it out for the win. Maybe this season is different. Maybe they can get that W that they're craving, but I don't know. I definitely think he's a lock for, or they're a lock for jury, but I don't know if they can get the win, but we'll see. I'm very high on Corey.
I'm gonna go get a new drink before anyone else mentions Ascendance again. BRB.
Ascendance.
Not Rizzo trying to get me drunk.
Caleb, you'll be happy about that.
Rizzo really said, Caleb, you've been drinking for an hour. Time to get wasted. Anyways, I would love to see Corey go far. I think they add a new element to the game or a different character than we usually see from people. Like, I don't think Corey is super like game body, but I don't think they're like a floater either or a coaster. Like, I think that they're their own thing, if that makes sense. One thing that worries me about Corey is, like, I've played Survive This with Corey, and a lot of people were saying that the reason why Corey was booted early was because they were inactive, and I know that's been the case for a couple other games as well. And while I hope that that's not the case for this game, it definitely is a cause for concern with their standing, I guess. I could potentially see Corey being a first boo or a first nom. I don't want that to happen, but I could potentially see that happening. Yeah, I hope they make it far, and I hope they bring something we haven't really seen before. Because I mean, I could see them doing great things on the season. I just don't hope it's. I just don't hope. Is that grammatically correct? I just hope that they don't go early, I guess, and like we can actually see their gameplay. As Blake Murphy fumbles over his words again. Sorry.
Okay. So next we have the person who won the very first org I ever played, Devin Slithers. I was so excited when I saw Devin apply to this season. Devin is a great player. He's the type of person that will make you feel like his best friend when he literally doesn't give two shits about you. And it's so fun to watch because he's so good at this game. And I really feel like Devin has a good shot. In his interview, he did say that he's kind of on a trend of going out in live nights. And so I do feel like that is a possibility. I feel like that's a good time to take a shot at Devin. Though I feel like that could also be a time to take a shot at Josh. So we'll have to see. I'm very interested to see Josh and Devin play together because I think that they're very similar. And so that'll be really interesting. I feel like Devin is a really good social player. He's a really good strategic player. I'm not sure how well he does physically, but it can't be terrible. So I'm really high on Devin. I don't necessarily think winner pick, but I do think he has winner potential for sure. I would not be shocked if Devin wins this season.
Okay, sorry, I just got back. Devin, I'm really excited. I've never even heard of Devin, but everyone else seems to have heard of him. So, and the reputation isn't the best. Game wise, not personality wise. I'm sure he's a great person. But game wise, it's not the best. So going into the game, I don't know if that's gonna hurt him if people already like Dylan is already pretty aware of Devin's reputation of being fake and kind of snaky. So if Dylan can kind of get that spread around, it might hurt Devin's game a lot. And I don't know how much of a footing Devin is going to be able to grab if people know coming into this game the way that he plays. I am really excited to see him play though, because I do want to see somebody snake their way to the end. I do. I want to see it. But I'm worried that too many people already know how he plays because he's been around for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
around for a while. And also, Caleb, if you want to see someone sneak their way into the end, you should have brought Sam last season.
Who's gonna be exposed tonight?
Stop.
Am I wrong? You're gonna look at me? Is I'm wrong?
I can't. Oh wow, I wasn't ready for that one. Whew, okay. Devin, right? Okay. No, I think I've said all I had to say. I think he can go far. I hope he's not as game body as people say he is. Because I think there's a difference between being like game body and snaky, just in my opinion. I hope he's more like a snake than a game bot, just because I feel like we already have so many.
I mean, Devin Slithers, does that tell you anything?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping for. I really hope he brings it, because even if he doesn't end up winning this game, I can see all-star potential from him. All-stars too.
Caleb said, I need an ally.
Oh, don't expose me.
Not for the 5th time, Caleb. When are you gonna retire? Anyways.
Caleb plays every even number season. He's already got.
Why am I being attacked?
Caleb, did I really hear Caleb Bananas?
Caleb
Oh
really
my
does.
god.
And Caleb has to play every odd season of Surviving. So Caleb's playing the next 2 seasons of 1984. Just wait.
Oh my god. I wasn't ready for that one.
I actually played with Devin. I played the last season of Cutthroat with him, CT6, and I was fucking Sherry robbed me, so I didn't really get to play with Devin too much. But Devin was an early merge boot. Devin's a good player. I don't have that I watched Devin play a couple of games. I don't think he's been that snaky. Like I know like he has a nickname in the community like Slitherly with I don't know some shit like that with his last name. It's like a play on words and like a slithery I don't know some shit like that. But like I'm a big believer in Devin. I see a lot of myself in him, even though I think I'm a lot more personable than Devin. Devin, like if he finds allies, like he'll be loyal to them. But like at the end of the day, towards the end game, he'll do whatever he takes. I know he's played big games. I know he's played Ascendants, Caleb. Like I said, Cutthroat and like a couple of other big ones. And I think he has everything what it takes, especially in a Big Brother format. People tend to forget like Big Brother is a lot easier to survive in than like a Survivor game or something. As long as you're good with people, you can easily skate by. And I think if he can skate by to the jury phase, end up winning HOHs or just making his allies win HOH, whatever, I think we could definitely see Devin at the end. And I think he can articulate himself at the end. Plus he's from New York, so woohoo. But he's definitely probably one of my 2 or 3 winner picks that I have going for. So I'm a big Devin believer.
See, I actually kind of have the same take as Rizzo does. Like, as much as I want to say that like Devin is a snake or whatever, I when I played YouTube Survivor with him, we actually made it really far together, working really, really closely together. And
You could have taken me with you, but give me pre-jury.
Fourth boot. Who? I'm kidding. No, like me and Devin made it to the final 6 together, and then we had to turn on each other because we realized we were each other's biggest competition. And like,
And who won? Not you. Devin.
hey, I still like I have to give it to Devin though, because he's a really good player. And I do think like I'm gonna sound like such a straight man when I say this, but he's someone that like I feel like everybody can like shoot the shit with, you know what I mean? And you love like talking to him, and you can have endless conversations with him. And so I do think he has that working for him. I know a few people have said things in their DR as Devin was revealed in the cast assessment, or not the cast assessment, the cast reveal. And so that concerns me a little bit, but I think Devin can dodge those bullets because I know he's more than capable of doing that. And I think he can come out in a really good spot on the other side. So I hope my hopes are very high for Devin as well. And I think he can make it really, really far.
Okay. Get your drinks ready because we have another Ascendant alumni.
We can pretend like I got something.
So next up is Peyton Dow. I have actually met Peyton in person. I really like Peyton. I was really excited to see him apply. I've been wanting to host him for a while. He's one of the bigger names we have on this cast as far as I am aware of. I feel like a lot of the time Peyton will make it really far in the game, but not ever clinch the win. So I definitely could see that happening. I could see Peyton making the end and then getting second. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a final, so I don't really know what the reason for him not winning is. I could also see Peyton kind of flaming out and kind of like Nick W kind of did last season, where he could go into the game, win a bunch of comps at the beginning, and show his potential way too fast, and then get booted. I do think that Peyton does have a good shot with competitions as well as socially. I just don't know where his head lies strategically, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'm really excited for Peyton though. While I don't necessarily think he is going to win the game, I do think he has potential to make it far. If I had to guess though, I think he'll be pre-jury, but I would love to see Peyton make it far in this game.
My concern for Peyton is the same one that I had for Amanda, is that people are gonna clock them as a duo. But on top of that, Peyton does have like the Ascendance connections. But I don't know if that'd be good for him because I don't think he's like well connected to anyone from Ascendance, but it's gonna scare everyone else. That I said Ascendance like 3 times, so I'll drink, but that he's connected to them. And I worry that his personality might be too big for the rest of the house. As from what I've seen, I don't think it is because I actually think this house is a pretty big personality as a whole. But when I first started, I felt like I like some of the quieter players might not vibe too well with him. But I think he has a good shot to make it to jury. Any farther than that, I'm not too sure. Like late jury endgame, I don't think he'll make it, but I do think he can make it to the jury at least.
I'm just gonna say this. Nicole Spears just put in her draft team, Ascendance, and it's for Ascendance alone.
You cut out there. Repeat, please.
I said that Nicole put her draft team in, and she named it Ascendance, and it's for Ascendance alone. Oh, that's Rizzo's turn.
All right, so off the bat, like I also recognize Peyton, like just from around orgs and stuff, and Peyton is someone that's very like outgoing, energetic, like will put themselves out there. I think Peyton won't have a problem with his social game. I think he will make it far as long as he's, good with a lot of people. I don't really see that much winner potential. I think that he might not be viewed as the forefront of a lot of the moves that would be made. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I just think Peyton I kind of do see a Nick W projection where like they win a lot in the beginning, or like they're really well connected in the beginning, or like he's really well connected in the beginning and then just ends up flaming out pre-jury right before jury starts. But I don't know. I think Peyton has a lot of experience in games for that not to happen. So I think if I had to pick pre-jury or jury, I think Peyton is a lock for jury just because how well he is socially. I just don't see a reason for him to go on the block, right? As long as he's well connected, as long as he doesn't stir up drama or be messy, I think he'll be fine. But if he, on the other hand, I can see him being very messy and starting drama, so he could be gone for that reason. But I'll like being positive, so I'll give Peyton the benefit of the doubt. I go jury for him.
Peyton also mentioned in his cast reveal video that he's kind of like overly sexual sometimes, and so I really hope that doesn't make some people uncomfortable.
Right.
Because if it does, that could be a reason for him to be targeted. I feel like he knows when to hold it back. I would hope so. Hopefully that happens. I don't know if there's too many people in this cast that he could do that with. There's definitely some, but I don't know. We'll see. We do have a lot of women. We have a lot of straight men, and we have some taken men. So we'll see what happens.
I also got to meet up with Peyton in person, and we spent New Year's Eve together, like 2018 to 2019 to 2020. So that was fun. I I don't know where Peyton's gonna land. He is a very good social player, and if you look at his like live game history too, he's able to maneuver his way to get decently far in those as well. So if he is good socially, he can go far. I don't know how strategic Peyton will be. I can't remember who said it, but I think somebody said he's always going to be at like the second hand man to every move made. I don't know the exact words that were used, but I fully agree to that. I don't think he's ever going to be given credit for making that move or that move. He's just going to be the one following somebody else.
Yeah.
Or that's how people are going to view it. But I have high hopes for Peyton. I hope he can go far. So I know he's capable. We've seen him go far. We've seen him go far in other games. Yeah, I think it just depends on how much he bonds and connects with the cast. I definitely think he is better with live games than he is with orgs, just because of his busy schedule.
Wasn't he played the last season of Mayhem, right? And didn't he get like second?
He got set. Him and Jake Abbott were first.
And I'm pretty sure during that game he went into a lot of eliminations. So I think that kind of shows where his strategic game is. Like and possibly social game. I don't know. At least with that game, and obviously that's a live game, so it's different. But you see how like his social game and strategic game in that game got him landed kind of like on the block a lot, but he used his physical abilities to get himself safe. And so that kind of shows me that he is kind of a more physical player. And so that might be what he has to rely on, which also points me to him possibly winning a bunch of comps early and flaming out. So
I think that being said, though, he could also be an early boot for that exact same reason.
exactly.
Like if he's like in Mayhem, you obviously have like the competitions to try to save yourself in the elimination. If you find yourself up on the block in Big Brother, you can't win a competition to keep yourself safe. You got to get those.
You only have the veto, and if you don't win the veto, that's it. Like,
Right.
And if somebody backdoors him, he has no shot. So
yeah.
Okay. Next up, one of probably my favorite interview that we did, Miss Kennedy. I really like Kennedy. I know that she played YouTube Survivor the most recent season. I'm not sure where she placed. I know she didn't make Final 3 because I know who the Final 3 were, but I don't know where she ended up. I do know that she made it to jury though. She's a very social player. I don't know how well she does strategically or physically, so I think social is going to be something that she relies on. I'm kind of nervous for her because of that. I think if she's too social, she could get taken out early, which I would really hate because I really like Kennedy. So I predicted her to get jury, but I'm not sure. I feel like she could be somebody that's kind of a casualty of another move trying to be made. Like she could be a pawn that gets taken out, or she could be like a second-hand man that gets taken out instead of the big player or whatever. I feel like her and Zach might work together because they're both newer to orgs. So like that might be a thing. I'm not sure. Like her and Jerry might work together as well, just because they're both younger. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm really excited to see Kennedy play. So
I've envisioned Kennedy's whole game in my head. I've made up all the story arcs for her. I believe I think she's gonna go far. I do. I have faith that she'll go far. I think that I don't know why. I don't know why I thought this, but I do think her and Zach are going to be a very strong duo. And Zach actually in his rankings put her like second or third, I think. So like obviously Zach has Kennedy pretty high up. I don't know how high Kennedy has Zach, but I hope it's pretty high. But and these two are kind of interlocked for me just because they're both the newest two orgs, I believe. And so I think a lot of people are going to underestimate Kennedy. And I don't think Kennedy's going to be afraid to kind of let people take her under their wing and then cut their throat when she needs to. I I don't know why I envision this happening. Like I can see like Josh or Devin or Dylan or all these game. Well, no, I think Dylan hates Kennedy, but I can see all these game bots trying to take Kennedy and be like, "Oh my God, you're so new. Let me help you. Let me show you how orgs work." And then she's like, "Okay, yeah, of course." And then when they least expect it, she flips the script on them. Um, that's I don't know why. Maybe I just want her to do well, so like that's what I'm thinking of. But and even if that's not the case, if that's not the scenario that happens, I do think she has the ability to go far. I think she's very strong socially. I think she has the strategic capability to make moves. And physically, I don't know, but I'm excited to watch her play.
I will say on Zach's rankings, which we can get more into when we talk about Zach, but he had Kennedy number 3. His number 1 was Jerry, who he already knows, and then number 2 was Austin, who he probably already knows because they're both engagers. So that's kind of a good sign there. Also, one thing I should say, you kind of mentioned Dylan. I just want to put this on the cast assessment because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Dylan in his prod chat goes, if anybody mentions the J word, I'm gonna be like, he was like talking
Jackbox.
and he was like, if anybody mentions Jackbox is so stupid. And then not 2 minutes later, Kennedy in her production chat goes, should I offer to play Jackbox? And it was right after Dylan was like talking in his prod chat about Kennedy's reveal and saying that he didn't really like her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like not okay for Kennedy because I don't think she really knows that any of this is happening behind her back yet. So if Dylan wins HOH and puts up Kennedy, I'm going to be upset, but I'm not going to be surprised. So there's that. She hasn't offered Jackbox yet, so we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah.
So, like Caleb said, I've been making a lot of scenarios in my head about Kennedy as well, just because for some reason, I don't know, she seems really into it, and that's what I admire about people that are new to games, right? Like she's like, oh my God, like what should I do socially? Oh my God, who should I get? Like to me, that like shows passion, and I admire people with passion. But I think she has 2 trajectories, nothing else. She's either going to be the X of All Stars and be on the block 10 times this season, or she's going to be at the finale. I don't think she'll win, but I think people, like everyone is saying, like she'll be strung along because she's young and or naive and like people like her and she's sociable. Like I think Kennedy has such a high and low ceiling. Like I don't think there's anything in between. Like I thought about maybe like if she was the Benner of All Stars, right? Like was just like skating by, just didn't
He
have
actually
any.
knows Benner IRL, by the way.
Oh my God, there you go.
Yes, that was
So I don't know, like I could see that too, maybe where she's just like somehow surviving every round and like the allies she thinks she has aren't really her allies. So I could see that, but I truly believe that she's either going to get nominated 6-7 times until she goes home, or she's going to be in this power alliance that gets her to the end.
Okay. Don't come for me after my little assessment.
Don't you dare!
Don't get me like I definitely like Kennedy. I really do. I think y'all are overhyping her a little bit. I don't. I think she'll make it the decent ways in the game. I don't think she's going to make it to the end. I don't think she's going to make it close to the end. I could see her like early jury or mid jury. Just because I think, I mean, she might turn into. I guess like it's hard because I've never seen her play before. So I'm not sure if she's like strategic or if she's super social. But I don't know. I don't see her being that standout player, but I also don't see her being that one that kind of falls behind, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like I definitely like her, and I like her personality, and I think she's kind of bubbly and stuff, and I like those types of people. Like I said, I just don't know if she's gonna make it super super far.
Loved your wrong opinion.
Everybody is entitled to their own wrong opinion.
I mean, to be fair, like I said, the only reason why I think she was going to the end is just because I feel like people would just like her enough. I don't think she's gonna be the fucking the strategic mastermind of the season by any means. I think people are just gonna string her along for an easy beat.
I can see her going early too, though. Just again, depending on who wins HOH, because I don't think Dylan likes her very much.
Right?
So like, if he gets an early HOH, it could be the end for her.
I genuinely think she's gonna be the pawn of the season. Like that's just my read.
Possible.
I do think a lot of people will like her though. I think she's gonna be okay for a little while, but I mean, kind of like y'all said, it depends who wins that HOH. And
I think Allie could also be the pawn of the season as well. Like if we're thinking about that, I do think that Allie could possibly be that. And if Allie and Kennedy get put up together early, and one of them goes home, then I think it's whoever survived will be.
And who would be the meninist who did that?
Yeah, whoever does that can like kick boxes. So
Watch it be Amanda or Chloe.
oh, it probably will be now that we're saying that. But
did you just say kick rocks?
I sure did. What?
Kick him! Kick him!
Okay. Next up, we have Zach. So Zach is very new to orgs. All of us know Zach for the most part, or at least a little bit. So most people that are watching this probably didn't know Zach before this. So Zach was friends with Burke, Sam, and Tyler before All Stars, and so he kind of watched All Stars play out, and he didn't really even know what orgs were. And so I'm really proud of him for stepping out of his comfort zone and playing this game, because a lot of engaged people would not do that. So I'm really excited to see him play. I know for a fact that he's a good player. I just don't know how it's going to translate into an org. Based on his interview, I wasn't sure how he would do socially, but then watching his video, I do think that he has some potential. So I don't necessarily think Zach's going to win, but I do think he's going to go far. I'm not exactly sure placement-wise, but at least jury, if not late jury. I think he's going to be somebody that slips through the cracks, because I don't think that he's going to be a big threat or a big target, and I don't think anybody's going to look at him early on. I just really hope he doesn't become a pawn or an early target because of that, but I do think that he'll end up slipping through the cracks, and I'm really excited to see him play. I hope after this game he goes out and plays other orgs, because I think that he definitely has some potential. So yeah.
Yes, I love Zach. Gertrude, if you're watching this, love you. I am so nervous for Zach. I wanted him to play this season so bad, but again, it is his first org. And your first org isn't always your greatest. We can't all be Josh Duolingo. We can't. So it's scary, but he has everything. He has the tools to make it far. Michael's right. It's just if he can transition them into the org format. It's still up in the air whether he can or not. I am gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give him Final Four. I really think he has the capability to do that, to make it that far. He's good socially, he's good strategically. I feel like he will be good at comps. I just hope he can make it work in an org, and just kind of let everything happen, because I know he's super nervous to play this. And I hope his nerves don't get the better of him. I hope he can just kind of let go, be himself, which I feel like he has, even just from the little bit that we've seen of him. I feel like he's just being himself, and I think that is going to help him get really, really far. And I think people are going to underestimate him. I really do. But I'm thinking Final Four. I have high hopes.
So just like Michael said, I know Zach because of this group chat we have that plays Roblox and all that stuff. And Zach seems like a
Yes,
really nice guy.
peasants.
Yes. Zach seems like a really nice guy. I don't think we have any Roblox competitions planned this season, so I don't know if he can win any of those. But I kind of feel bad because like it's his first org, but I don't know. I don't see Zach making it that far. Um, I'm not someone from the 10 gauge community, so I don't know how those games work and stuff. But I feel like the difference in an org is that you have to put time to get to know people, like social, like their personal lives, all this to get a good bond with people. Like, I don't know, is 10 gauge just like something you hop on and then you just talk to people and be like, all right, let's vote this person. Like, I don't know. So I can't really comment on that. But with it being his first org, especially being like 1984, like there's a lot of big players out there. Like he's swimming in some shark infested water here. So I don't, the only way I see him going far is if all these big players that have previous histories just start coming at each other. But like I can see them playing nice in the beginning and be like, "Do you guys know Zach? Like I've never even heard of him." They're like, "All right, Zach, go on the block. I've never even talked to you." And then that he probably gets frightened and doesn't have enough time to make the connections for him to stay. I mean, like I said, I like the guy. I think he's really nice. He's also from New York, so I would love to see him go far. I just think he's in a really stacked cast, and it's not going to look too good for him, especially being his first game.
I will say I think quarantine might work to his advantage because everything's shut down, and so what else does he have to do but sit here and talk? So that might help him, but I don't know.
We love Tyler.
Would you fail
If he's in
class for
If he's
1984?
if he's in danger though, just scratch whatever veto we did and put the Amazing Race Roblox edition on.
Not the rigging.
So I think I've said this about a player from every single season, and Michael's probably heard me every single cast assessment say this at least once about somebody, but I think group gamers tend to have the tendencies to come into orgs and play the same way that they play in group games, and that's a big no-no. Like you can't get away with that type of gameplay in orgs. But I have really high hopes for Zach. I want to see him make it really far in his first org. But as most of us know, like the chances of winning your first org are very slim to none. But I'd be happy if he won his first org. But if that's not the case, I hope this is his stepping stone into playing orgs, and he can learn a lot from this one at least, and know what to do better in the future. But I have a lot of high hopes for him, and like I said, I'd love to see him make it far, and I'd love to see him win the game. I think it'd be iconic, honestly, if he won his first org, especially him.
I will say, including Caleb, he has 3 winners in his production chats. We'll see how that goes for him.
I think, real quick, I think that might also be something to work to his benefit because he's got Tyler and Sam in there. So if he ever does need pointers, he can have his production friends help him out a little bit.
Caleb, you're not allowed to help with that. Sorry.
I
bud.
know. Who needs to win their first org? Losing is the new winning. You come back, you win your second one.
I've lost like 11 orgs, so it's okay, guys. You'll eventually get there.
Imagine being in a chat full of all winners and not winning.
Rizzo, you're my winner, Rizzo.
I won a game.
No, if Zach wins that game and I'm literally in a chat of all org winners and myself, I'm leaving. I'm over it.
No, you don't have to be a winner to be an icon. I think that a lot of the losers in games are iconic too. So
losing is the new winning.
Blake Murphy's trying to suck up to me right now. I don't know
Everybody in
Murphy, but you're trying to suck up and I don't appreciate it.
I am not a suck up. That is the last activity that I would be doing.
Okay, I have a story that I need to tell you guys about work after this. Remind me, but I'm not going to say it on here. But please
Everyone
remind
in the Peasants chat besides Michael and Zach org winners.
If that's true, I'm literally leaving. Hold on.
I would see it.
Hold on.
Has Bryce?
No,
I feel like Bryce.
Has Bryce won?
I don't know.
Jack probably hasn't won either.
Jack
Jack.
Wall. Yeah, Nick Benner probably has one.
I'm sure Benner's won at one point. I don't know. I think that's it though. Okay.
You should
Yeah.
still leave though.
Caleb, would you like a spot on production next season? Or no, you're playing next season. Never mind, I forgot.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'll have to take a hiatus from.
Would you
prom.
like to continue your legacy? Or did that? Yeah, we finished that. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we have somebody who has applied to this game very many times, but never happened to get on the cast.
Oh.
Very excited to have this person finally. It is Dylan.
Cheers.
Not the shade before you start. Damn, we going that way today.
I have wanted to host Dylan since the first time he applied. It just never worked out because of various circumstances. I know that he's a good player. He typically doesn't make it terribly far in games, but I do think that his presence in a game is very intimidating, and I'm very interested to see how that works in this season with this twist, because I think that this could work to his advantage. I think that he could manipulate this twist and get a group of people together that will work with him to flip the script on a vote, and then nobody knows what happens or what happened, and the whole game turns up on its head. And I think Dylan could very well do that. Dylan has won orgs before. He has played games and ended up winning them. He just won. You can take a half drink. He just won Ascend to the Chaos, which was obviously it was like a joke game, but he still won it. And so
Michael says it's a joke game because he went home early.
no, it literally was. Ask Nicole. But he won that game, and he I know that he won I Love Money that was hosted by Dylan Andrews. Like he's got a couple wins under his belt. But I also see him go home early a lot. So I don't know what it's going to be this season. I don't necessarily think this is the best cast for him, but I do think he has some potential. He does have a couple people that he knows, but I think he also has some people that he knows that don't like him or he doesn't like Billy. And I know he doesn't necessarily like Josh, at least as a player. And so there's some people in this game that I think will target Dylan if they get power simply because of the reputation or past interactions with him. So I'm nervous for Dylan. If I had to predict, I'd say pre-jury. But I would love to see Dylan go far in this game because I do think that he has great potential as a player, especially after waiting for so long to host him. I would hate for him to go out early. So
Dylan said drinking wasn't a personality trait, and as the 1984 drunk, I took that personally. But anyway, I'm nervous for Dylan because as he was like the only one during the cast reveal who was like talking about everyone as they were being revealed. So like I feel like I got the insight to who he's going to align with the most. It's not looking too good. There were some people who he said he could find himself aligning with, who he liked or who he had a previous connection to. There was also quite a few people who he either did not like or did not like him, and he knew that. And the problem with Dylan is that I think he does not like, I'd say about half the cast. I say he does not like about half this cast. But the problem is that's half the cast that doesn't like him as well. And he could be an easy first boot if any of them win HOH, just again, based off his reputation, based off past experiences. When you win first HOH, there's not a lot to go off of. And I feel like Dylan could be such an easy target for that first boot. I think if he makes it a week to 3 weeks, he can go decently far in this game. I don't see a scenario where he wins, though. I think even if he makes it to the end, I don't think he's going to be able to gather up the jury votes to win. I don't know why, but I don't see it happening. But I think if he survives the first few weeks, I think he can make it a decent way. Stop. But I'm interested to see where he lands because I think it's either going to be horrible or really good, and he could land in the middle somewhere, but I don't know. I'm wondering if he's going to make it past these first couple of weeks, but he's definitely a contender for first boot for me.
I keep interrupting, but I'm going to do it again anyway. He has met up with Allie and Peyton in person, so there is that connection. And then he was really excited to see Corey. So if those four possibly make a group, which Ascendance, but that would be an Ascendance alliance. But I feel like that is a very possible group of people. And then I don't think they would pull in Devin, but Devin is another alumni of the series. I'm not going to say because Caleb will get drunk. But I do think that there is potential of that happening. And I think that could be what carries Dylan far. If he gets far, I think that might be why.
I never realized Michael had such a hard-on for Ascendance. But anyways.
We have so many of their alumni. What am I supposed to say? And that's
you obviously haven't talked to Michael Davis enough.
I'm just joking. See now Dylan. So yeah, I've known Dylan for not like personally or anything, but like I've seen him in games. Obviously, he won Dylan Andrews' game, and I've seen him in Perception All-Stars, Double Cross returnees, and a lot of the times I feel like Dylan is early boot always. I feel like I don't know. He has the capability of making it far. I think he's likable. I think he lets his like not emotions but like his takes on people get in the way of his gameplay, right? Like so like for instance, like first impression, he's like, oh my God, I don't like Kennedy. I feel like now that just in his mind stirs him away from Kennedy when that's somebody he can work with. Caleb said it, like if you hate half of the cast, like what's the point of playing then? Like you're just outnumbering yourself so much. So like I think Dylan is a lock to be pre-jury, because if he doesn't like half the cast, that means he's not going to make an effort to talk to half the cast, which leaves 50% of the cast winning HOH, which gives him a 50% shot of going on the block, and that gives him a 50% shot of going home. So sorry for all the numbers, but I just
math class with Rizzo.
Yes,
we love
sir.
that.
Wait, what?
I was giving a whole soliloquy on data analytics of how Dylan is going to go home. So I think he's locked for pre-jury. If he hates all these people as much as he says he does, like I said, I just don't see a way where he makes it far.
I think the thing about Dylan, like, you don't have to know Dylan to know about Dylan, because I feel like there's going to be one person in every game who knows who Halloween is in the past actions of Halloween, and that could easily be influenced to get Dylan out early. But I mean, I do think Dylan has grown a lot over the years, and I think that he not only personally has he grown, but I think he's grown as a game player as well. Like, I don't think Dylan's ever been bad at the game per se, but I think his socialness is better now, and he, I actually think he. See, it's hard for me to say because I don't know if I think his jury management could be there to potentially win, but then there's also the other side of me that's like, no, there's no way Dylan's going to win the game because nobody's going to give it to him. But I do think if Dylan does put his dislike for some certain people aside and starts talking to them, I do think Dylan could make it far, but I think he needs to actually connect and bond with those people that he does not want to. Because kind of like Rizzo said, if you don't talk to a specific amount of people, you're going to go up on the block. Like, it's going to happen. So I do think that Dylan is also probably going to go pre-jury, but honestly, I wouldn't complain if he made it to the jury, because I feel like we would see a lot of good gameplay coming from him and a lot of good memeable moments. And
I already told you that Dylan's getting all the episode quotes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him luck, and I it's hard because I want to see all of this cast go far, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, I think he has what it takes. I just think he needs to get over his dislike for some people and start talking to them.
Looks at us making 2 extra people get pre-jury. in a season that we love everybody. But oh well, it's what's supposed to happen.
I am not taking credit for that one, Michael Davis.
Oh, I will gladly take credit for that one. So next up, our one and only surviving 1984 alumni who even applied this season, and our very first surviving 1984 winner, we have Josh. I am very excited for Josh. He applied last season, or not last season, but Power of Three, and we unfortunately were not able to get him a spot on the season. So when he applied this season, I was really excited to have him. Made casting really hard, but I really was excited to have Josh because I know how good of a player he is, and I know how much he wants to play this game. And I think that's what was hard, was because I know Josh wants to play this game. He has a lot of passion for 1984, and I know that he has a special place in his heart for 1984 because it was his first game, it was his first org win, and I would really like to see him become the first winner of both of our productions. Even though I know that Jake Stevens also said that he doesn't want this to happen because he would like to be the first dual winner, but I do think that Josh does have the potential to do it. I think that Josh has some connections in this cast, but he also has people that know how he plays and could target him because of that. I think him and Devin, as I've said, are very similar players, and I think if those two each build themselves an army and go at each other, that'll be a fun season to watch. But I think that Josh and Devin could end up being casualties of that. So I do think that Josh will make it to jury, but from there, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like Josh, a lot of the time, will make it really close to the end and then get cut because everybody knows he's going to win. So I feel like that could definitely happen. I think these players would be stupid to not take him out pre-jury, but I think these players are going to be stupid and they're not going to take him out pre-jury. So we'll have to see. I'm really excited to watch Josh play. So yeah.
This is going to make me sound really bad, but I fought really hard for Josh to be on this cast. Not saying that Josh was like not a contender to be on this cast, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I wanted Josh to play because even though he kind of has a reputation as a game bot, I think he brings a lot more than just that. Is he kind of a game bot? Yes, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think of him as a game bot. I think he's a good player, and people automatically are like, oh, you've made it to the end a bunch of times, you've won a bunch of orgs, like, oh, you must be a game bot. I don't think that's the case. I think he's just a really good player who might not be the best socially, but it's still there. He has social connections, and I think he's strategic enough, most definitely strategic enough. And I think if anyone was to win surviving and regular 1984, it would be Josh. So I'm very, very excited to see how he does. Everyone's playing up this like Devin versus Josh dynamic, and I'm interested to see how that goes. I don't think it's gonna be a thing, but it very well could be. I think Josh is gonna lay low for the beginning of the game. I think he's gonna kind of get his social connections that he needs to, and then later on he's going to be set, and then he's going to be able to make the strategic moves that he needs to make it to the end. And I think he has a good chance of going far. I don't think he's going to make it all the way, but I'm guessing mid jury is going to be my assumption. I think he's capable of making it to the end. I just don't think it's going to happen.
So has Josh ever played a Big Brother game before, or is this his first?
He played Taze. I'm not sure how far he went. I think he made it pretty far. I'm not 100% sure.
So
did play Taze.
So I've seen Josh play in a lot of games, and he usually makes it pretty far. I don't think this Devin versus Josh thing is going to happen at all. If anything, I see them teaming up. I think Josh, from my experience, teams up with all the big players like Rachel, he worked with Trinity All-Stars. I know he worked with Jake Stevens, like even Andrews Clementshaw's game, like he worked with the guy that ended up winning the entire time.
That's Clementshaw's game.
So like I think Josh is not somebody to work with, like, or like be the head of control with weak players, right? I think he teams up with all the big players. So I think Josh's trajectory is also one of two things. He's either going to be pre-jury, like the last spot, whatever that is, that's 10th, right? We made it 10th, the last final jury or pre-jury spot. So I think he either gets 10th or he'll get like 6th or 7th. I don't know if he'll have the sway like how he does in Survivor games. Like I feel like Josh is somebody all about numbers and stats and like this is what's best fit for us. I think that's a lot harder to navigate in Big Brother because Big Brother has a luck factor, right? Like worst case scenario, if his person that's against him wins HOH, you can see him gone. You know what I mean? I think Big Brother is a lot more dependent on competitions, whereas Survivor, as long as you're good with people, you'll be fine. So I think he'll face a lot more adversity here than in a lot of the other games he plays. So I have high hopes for Josh. I always hear great things about him through like Jake and a lot of other people. So hopefully he could maybe be the first two-time crossover 1984 winner. I don't see it happening though, but I'm rooting for Josh.
I also don't think Josh versus Devon's going to be a thing. I think that Devon likes to align with people who are like equally as strategic as him. But I mean, he does align with people that are not as strategic as him as well. But I know that he likes to have people kind of bounce ideas off of him as well, so that they can kind of make moves together or like execute them together in ways. But I think that Josh is definitely capable of winning again. It's just the fact that will people let him get to the end? Because I think Josh reminds me of like a male version of Sherry in a way. And I know like Rizzo and I have talked about Sherry a lot, but like Sherry is one of the biggest strategic players in the community and she gets away with it every game. And that's why it reminds me of Josh in a way, because I feel like Josh can be as sneaky or shady or strategic as he wants to be, and he gets away with it every single game, and he can do it again the next game and people won't clock him for it. And so I think he has that working for him. But kind of like Rizzo said, this is Big Brother and we're used to seeing him play Survivor. So who knows where that's going to land. Like, I know he played Taze, but I think he was in the minority for a while. I'm not sure if I'm right, but Big Brother is in a way harder than Survivor in trying to get that majority and get your moves executed. I think Survivor is easier with that. While I do think Big Brother is easier to stay safe, I'm interested to see how Josh plays his strategic game in a Big Brother styled format.
I'm gonna go back to like the Devon versus Josh thing. I don't necessarily think it's gonna happen. I think it's just more a fantasy that I would like to see it happen. But I do think that they would work well together. But I feel like at some point one of them's gonna get power hungry, and they're gonna have some kind of conflict where one of them is gonna end up having to take out the other because their games are gonna be so similar, I think. So there's that. Also, I feel like Josh played Surviving like 11 months ago, I think. So it's been almost a year, and it was very. It was his first game, and so I'm like losing my train of thought. I don't know why. It was his first game, and since then he's grown a lot as a player. And so it'll be very interesting to see him again 1 year later, to see how he's grown and if he's changed up his gameplay at all. So I'm not sure that he has changed up his gameplay since the last couple games he's played, but I do think he's changed his gameplay since 1984 saw him last. So I'm really interested to see how he's grown as a player in a year, and can he adapt himself into a Big Brother format from what he's used to playing in Survivor. So, okay. Next up is my autocast, Garrett, or So I don't want to talk too much about his sister because this isn't about his sister, but his sister did play on Surviving 2. So to have like the whole Orr family now with us, like that's cool. So now, no more about Caitlin. I'm really excited to see Garrett play. I think Garrett's going to be a very, very social player. I do think that he's going to have some competition ability, but I don't necessarily think he's going to be the strongest of the cast. But I do think that socially he's going to do really well. I'm not quite sure who I think he's going to work with yet. Maybe Peyton. I don't know. Probably like Kennedy and maybe Austin, Amanda, like that group possibly. I would love that. I have really high hopes for Garrett. I do think he's going to make the jury. I don't know if he's going to make it too far into the jury. I'm not sure exactly what all games he's played. I know he's played Double Cross, and I think he got like 12th-ish. I'm not exactly sure. But that's the only game I know that he's played. So I don't know how many he's played, but he's also a teacher, so I like that. So maybe him and Amanda are going to bond over that because of both being teachers. Very possible. I know that anytime I go into a game if there's another teacher, I like to align with them. So, so if that's the same with them, cool. I would love to see Garrett go far. I have high hopes for him. I don't really see him going through jury, but I do think that he could be the type of person that makes it, that like kind of slides to the end and has a good case socially to win without having made a bunch of strategic decisions. So like if we want to say like a floater or a social player might make it to the end and win, I think Garrett could be that person. So yeah, and I wouldn't be mad about it.
I agree. I think Garrett's gonna make it decently far. My biggest fear is that as of right now, Garrett is like, in my opinion, the main one like leading the conversations and like very engaging, at least in the house chat. I don't know how he is in PMs, but I feel like he's one to keep a conversation going, keep it flowing, and I think he's going to be one of the biggest social players in this game, but I think he's gonna be too big of a social player. And I think people are gonna catch on to that. And I think it's going to kind of end up biting him in the ass come early mid jury. I think people are gonna catch on to how socially connected he is, and I think he's gonna get taken out because of his connections. So while I do think he is going to be really socially connected, I think it's going to come back around and kind of hurt him more than it's going to help him, if that makes sense. I don't know why. That's just kind of how I'm feeling, just based off the way he's kind of leading the conversations, and he always is commenting on what other people have to say. And he's not afraid to like put himself out there. I could be wrong. Maybe he's different and maybe he's gonna be more of a behind the scenes person, but right now I am kind of worried about that. But I also think he has a good strategic bone. I think he is going to be able to make moves, um, and I don't think people are really going to see it coming from him. So I am kind of excited to see how he plays and see what he's capable of doing. But I'm worried that he's going to be clocked for having too many connections. That's my biggest concern for him. But I don't know. We'll see.
We're talking about Garrett, right? Does Garrett have that many connections? I guess I didn't really know.
Not right now. I'm just basing it off the chat. He's always the one to talk first, I feel like, and he's been carrying on the conversation the most. And he's commenting on what everyone's saying. He's like, yeah, me too, or like this and that. I don't know. So just based off the house chat, I feel like he's putting himself out there more than a lot of other people are. But I don't know how he's going to be in PMs or alliances or anything.
Right.
I think Caleb's read a lot more of the house chat than I have.
Yes, man. I don't know. At first, I liked Garrett. He didn't come off as like a social mastermind to me. I think he's just going to be somebody that's I don't know. I don't think he's really going to have that big of an impact in the game. Like, I don't think we're going to look back at 1984 season 7 lights out and be like, damn, Garrett really did the damn thing. But that's just my opinion. I think
Yes, when Garrett wins and you go to All Stars 2 with him, you're gonna be first boot.
Garrett, I'm
Rizzo's
sorry.
making enemies.
I'm sorry I slandered you, pal. But no, I don't know. He's not new to orgs, right? He said this. He's played in a few of them, so I think he has the structure of going deep and whatever. But when like I don't know, and I think he's active, like social and all that. I don't know. I don't know. Just my vibe is think I think he's going to be literally first or second juror. I think he can win some comps in the beginning, and I think he can stir the game in a certain direction. I just don't think he'll have the agency to be that big player, be that winner. And if he wins, then fuck me, whatever.
I thought you were about to say first or second boot, and I was about to reach through this. And
I thought he was too. I was like, I don't know about that
no,
one.
Rizzo, we're not manifesting that.
No. I think he's like.
I kind of agree with you on that, though. I do think first, second, maybe third juror is probably where I think he'll end up, because I don't necessarily think anybody's going to take out Garrett in the double. Now, Garrett, if I just I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. So I think it might be like right after the double, or maybe right before the double. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that Garrett's playing, but it doesn't live up to my full fantasy of having Caitlyn and Garrett in the game and nobody knowing that they're siblings. Like, I would have loved that so much. I think it would have been iconic.
Yeah, Caitlyn or Garrett or those.
I mean, they could have changed their last name on Facebook. It just takes it just takes 2 clicks and a few.
It's okay. We'll have them together for Blood versus Water.
No, but I definitely see what Caleb is saying. I think that Garrett might be a little too social right now. And people might view that as somebody who could end up being a big threat later on in the game, or when they get to that point, he could be looked at as overly sociable as well. But I have high hopes for Garrett. I really like him, and I think that, or I hope that he goes far. I would love to see the way he plays games, because I think he is relatively new to orgs. And I just like to see how far he can go, because I always like when new orgers start in the community, just so you can see like how they play and how they handle like stressful situations, or if they're gonna like strike hard at people. Like, and knowing that his sister Caitlyn is, I mean, surviving, she wasn't the most social, but in most situations she is like a social butterfly. Knowing that that's his sister, I think that he's gonna follow those same footsteps. And I think that he could go really, really far. I wish I could say he's my winner pick. I fear that the over socialness and something's just gonna pop up where he gets taken out. But I have high hopes for him, and I hope he makes it far.
I also want to say it's day 1 and he's already coming for my spot as House Drunk. And we do love the Missouri representation.
And he also likes tattoos, and so maybe Caleb, you might be getting replaced.
No comment. No comment.
That's why you moved to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And last and possibly least, no, I'm kidding. Last and certainly maybe possibly least is Jerry. I love Jerry. He just won Trinity All-Stars, and there are people on that cast that know that information. So that makes me nervous for him. I wanted to work with Jerry in that season, but it just never happened. So I feel like Jerry's another social player. He is okay at competitions from what I've seen, but not the best. I do think that he has potential in this game to go far, but if I had to predict, I really do think that Jerry's probably getting the jury, as much as I don't want to say that. But I really do kind of get that feeling. I love Jerry though, and I think he does have potential. I do think that he might become a creature of habit and work with like Josh and Chloe and Zach, and that kind of makes me nervous. I think that he needs to branch out to other people. Like Rizzo, you just worked with him in BBH and you guys knew each other prior. Like that kind of shows me that Jerry's going to work with people that he knows. And if he's going to just do that, then I think that that could be dangerous for him. I think if he can find some new people to work with, like maybe work with like Kennedy or Garrett or I don't know, Austin or Amanda, like those people, if he can work with them rather than working with the people that he knows, then I think he's going to have much more potential to do well. He's already kind of mentioned wanting to protect Zach, and I feel like that could be his downfall because if he sits there and protects Zach and makes it known that he's protecting Zach in any way, him and Zach are going to end up sitting on the block together, and Jerry's going to go home, and it's going to be his fault. So I really hope that that doesn't happen because I do want to see Jerry go far. If I had to make a guess, I just don't think that Jerry's going to make it as far as we all want him to make it.
Was it my turn? Rat.
Jerry,
I
if you get my post taken down on Facebook, I will.
I love Jerry. He is interesting to say the least. I'm gonna agree with Michael. I don't think he's making it far. And the thing is like I think his strongest aspect of the game is his social game. But we've talked about it throughout like almost everyone. Almost everyone here has a really, really strong social game. Like there's a lot of social players this season. And I don't know if Jerry is going to be able to compete with some of the other ones. And it does suck because I do want him to do well. And I hope he does. But I don't know. I just have a feeling that he's not going too far in the game. Especially because he talked about how he has like a temper in his intro video. And I don't know if that's true or not. I've never seen Jerry pop off on anyone.
I have.
Oh, never mind. Okay, apparently he does have a
It pop
temper.
off at Tim a little bit in All Stars, but I think that was about.
Tim probably deserved it. But anyways,
I hope Tim watches this. Tim and Josh are friends.
I hope Tim does too. Anyway, but Jerry is, I don't know. He obviously can do good. He won All Stars of Trinity, so like he can do good. I just don't know if he will this season. I just don't. It might just be a feeling, but I hope I am wrong.
Jerry, when you watch this back, I love you, pal, but I'm going to deep dive Jerry's game really quickly. So obviously he won Trinity, all that jazz, whatever. I don't want to say it was luck. Jerry deserved his win, yada, yada, yada. But here we go. I played BBH with Jerry, and like Michael said, Jerry's going to work with the people he works with. Me and Jerry obviously knew each other because of Peasants, and he had this undying loyalty to me like no other. He was taking me to the end, losing to me. He didn't give a fuck. He can say, oh, I was cutting Rizzo. He wasn't doing that. And I kind of feel bad because even though I had Jerry's back always, had my avenues open. I was talking to other people, all that. I feel like Jerry relied a lot on me, and I'm worried that he's going to do that this cast. Because when the cast was released, Jerry PM'd me, like, he's like, Rizzo, oh my God, I know so many people. I was like, okay, Jerry, like, you know, he knows Josh, Chloe, Zach. Like, I feel like he's going to be too connected to these three that he's going to just try his best to take them to the end. And like, I was telling, and Jerry got 6th place in BBH. I got 5th. I mean, I like to think that was a lot because of me, because a lot of Jerry's allies he was close with were my allies. So I need Jerry to branch out. Jerry, if you can branch out, show everybody how nice you are, how smart you are, how loyal you are. Don't stick yourself to a group of people. If he sticks with that Josh group, I think his time in the game is going to be cut short. But at the same time, if the group he's working with runs the tables, I can definitely see him in the end game. I think it just depends. I think if Jerry is social and he puts himself out everywhere, he'll make it far. I worry that everything he finds out, he'll go to Josh or he'll go to Zach and be like, this. And like, Zach is somebody that's not going to have agency in the game. Like I said, I don't think Zach's going to be the power player this season. So like telling Zach this shit isn't going to like be a big move, I think. So like I'm worried that he's going to be loyal to the people that he already knows and doesn't give the other people a chance. Is Michael sleeping? Oh, I was about to say, is Michael sleeping to my Jerry conversation? But Jerry, I hope you win. I love you, pal. But prove me wrong because BBH was kind of a disaster.
Flashback Friday to the night where Michael Davis fell asleep on call. I don't know if Caleb remembers that.
When was that? Was that recent?
I think it was like a few weeks ago. But I kind of agree with all of you on Jerry. Definitely love Jerry. Amazing guy. However, he needs to, like y'all said, it's such a snooze fest. Those types of players that come in and only work with the people that they know. Like, you can be friends with people and not work with them. Like, if your friendship is strong enough, it will go outside the game. You don't always have to work with your friends. And I think all of us have voted out friends in the past, and it is what it is. Like, you move forward. You may be upset.
You sure have, Blake Murphy.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to do what you have to do in a game, and I don't think that always consists of working with people that you know. Like, give these new people a chance, try and see what they have to offer, and see if they could be a benefit to your game. So I definitely agree with y'all that I feel like he's sorry. I feel like sorry, I just lost my train of thought because that made me laugh.
There's no reason why you lost your train of thought. I have no idea.
I think he needs to give new people. I think he needs to give new people a chance and actually try to work with people that he doesn't know. Otherwise, he's gonna go out pretty early if he doesn't give new people a shot.
Okay, so with that, it was almost 2 hours, if not 2 hours. But we got through all 16 of them. We had some good conversation here. I'm really excited for this season. This list, I think, as subtle as it is, I think it's going to cause so much drama, and I'm really excited for it. So before we finish this off, I think we'll do 2 winners picks each. And because I am greedy, we're going to go in the same order that we've been going in.
And we can't copy.
So none of you bitches can say that I'm copying any of you because I'm last.
You can copy each other. It's okay.
Okay.
Me and Blake literally had the same picks, all 3 last season, and our draft teams were off by like 1 person, and they're off by 1 person this season too. So, and then we'll do the production draft after we get off here. So, oh goodness. I think I am going to go with Austin and Amanda. I feel like Austin has a lot of potential to be able to slide under the radar, but also be a strategic player. I think that this could be his time. I know that a lot of the time Austin goes really far in the game and doesn't quite pull out the W, but I do think that Austin has a good chance with this cast. I think that he has social abilities, he has strategic abilities, he has physical abilities. So like I think that he has a good shot, and I do think that he could gather the votes at the end. And then Amanda, I feel like she's very liked by a lot of people that are viewing the game, and so I think a lot of the people inside the game are going to like her as well. I think that she's another triple threat where she can win comps, she's strategic, and she's social. And I feel like a lot of people will reward that at the end. So that's who I'm going to lock in as my winner picks. So Caleb Reed, you're next.
I think Austin would be a third choice for me. But if I had to pick two, I would probably pick Amanda for the exact same reasons that you said. Um, and I don't know. I have a good feeling about Zach. I'm gonna pick Zach. I just I think he's gonna get underestimated, but I think he's gonna use it to his advantage. I could be wrong. It is his first org, and that makes me so nervous because first orgs don't usually go that well. But I think Zach has a really
He's speaking
good.
from experience, Mr. Reed.
Don't talk to me, Michael.
And
I
I
think
also am.
I think that if anyone could win on their first org besides Josh, it would be Zach.
I'm going to continue my Devin hype train. Devin Withers is the season 7 1984 winner. Book it. But if it's not him, I'm looking at the cast and I don't want to pick Amanda because all you guys are picking Amanda and I want to be hashtag different. So I'm going to pick Peyton. I think if Peyton can get his social game intact, I think this might be the one for Peyton to win because I'm different. I was going to say Amanda. Everyone's picking Austin too. So I'm going to pick Peyton as my different pick.
Okay, so I also think that Amanda and Austin can win, but those are not going to be my picks because I'm hashtag different.
Sure you are.
But I do agree with Rizzo. One of my picks is the one and only Devin Slithers. He's amazing at the game. His gameplay speaks for itself, and I think that he will get attention towards him at some point in the game, and he's going to get targeted at some point. But I think knowing his gameplay, he can maneuver it. My second pick. I'm gonna go with Garrett just because I really like Garrett, and I think that he's really social, and I think he's easily gonna get people to like him.
Okay, and next we're gonna go back through and do first boot picks. Should we do 2 or 1? Do we want to be really mean or just a little mean? Let's do 2. I feel mean.
Michael said, "Oh, let's be really mean."
I woke up and chose violence. So my 2 first boot picks, I think I'm gonna say the same thing I said last season. I'm picking the people that in the most scenarios I think could be a first boot. And so I'm gonna say Nick and I'm gonna say Callum. As much as I really don't want to say Callum, I just kind of have a feeling with this cast. And I feel like Nick said it himself. Like he doesn't necessarily have the most connections, and he kind of vibes differently than most of these players. And so I feel like it's very possible that Nick gets first boot. And so yeah, I think it'll really depend on who gets HOH, because if somebody that has passed bad blood with somebody else gets HOH, then it might go a different way. But I think in the most situations, those two probably have the best shot of getting first boot.
I'm gonna agree with Nick. I think he's already in the mindset that he's getting first boot, and again, I really don't think that's gonna do well for his game. I'm also gonna say Dylan. I just think there's too many people that he's not vibing with, and that don't vibe with him, and I think it makes him such an easy target. Again, the first HOH, there's not much to go off of. So I think Dylan can easily be picked out as a first boot just because there wasn't much else to go off of.
I'm gonna go with Nick as well. I think, like Caleb said earlier on, like the energy you put out is what's gonna come back to you. Like no matter the situation, don't count yourself out, right? Always figure something out. And I mean, like it was just his first impression, but Nick is one of them. I mean, I do think Callum is another one, but I'm hashtag different. And I think Dylan is also another one. I'm going to be hashtag different. I'm going to go with Billy Rocker. I think if Billy Rocker gets put on the block for whatever reason for not talking to somebody, he's going to have a Justin from Power of 3 kind of arc where like they talk a little too much and then boom, downfall. So I'm going to go with Billy Rocker.
I could actually really see that happening. I'm gonna. I do think Nick's gonna be one of the first 2 boots, but I'm gonna be hashtag different. Hashtag different. I really like this person, but I don't know. I don't know where they stand, so I'm gonna say Corey. I want to hope that they won't be first boot, but again, something is just scaring me that they're gonna go early. And then hold on, I gotta look at this cast again real quick. I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna also say Billy Rocker. I think that he's gonna go early.
Different.
I was hashtag different for one of them.
I was different for all of mine because I went first. Okay. So with that is all we have. I'm looking forward to a great season. As I say every time, this obviously is being put out after the season, so congratulations to whoever won and made finals and all that stuff. Thank you to anybody who actually watched the whole thing. Probably 0 people, that's okay. You all skip around your own names, so nobody's watching this part. If you are, you should take a video clip of this and I'll send you a promo code for merch. There we go. That's fun. None of you can do that. You have the production codes. So with that is all I have for you guys. Yeah, looking forward to a great season.